FNaF Secret of the Mimic, aka the series' newest mainline release, told us a lot about the origins of Fazbear Entertainment, and more specifically, its cast of animatronic characters. A lot of familiar characters or designs reappeared in this game, oftentimes in different, older forms. However, since these characters are being seen at a non-Fazbear location, this does create an interesting question. Were these characters bought out by Fazbear Entertainment, or stolen by them? And if so, how many? After all, Dispatch does say in the opening cutscene that,
as per his contract, everything he's been working on for us is now legally ours.
So it's entirely possible that these characters could have been stolen by Fazbear from Edwin Murray's workshop. So today, I want to examine every mascot suit from the entire game to see just how many characters Fazbear Entertainment stole from Edwin. So join me, as we step headfirst into Murray's costume Manor, to find all of Fazbear Entertainment's stolen characters. Starting off with some FNaF 1 characters, Secret of the Mimic showed us that Chica and Foxy were actually not always part of the Fazbear band. While it's been heavily established that Freddy and Bonnie were Henry and William's original characters, Chica and Foxy both came from their own attractions, with Foxy coming from a pirate-themed puppet show, and Chica coming from her own Chica's Party World location, an establishment that we've known about since before the release of Sister Location thanks to the Scott Games website. However, since these characters were part of a presumably copyrighted show or brand, I think it's more likely that Fazbear purchased the rights to these characters rather than just stealing them, as prototype suits for both of them appear in one of the endings. I was honestly pretty shocked to find out that Secret of the Mimic actually gives us the origins of 4 out of the 5 Mediocre Melodies from FNaF 6, Mr. Hippo, Orville Elephant, Happy Frog, and Pig Patch. Starting with Mr. Hippo, during the Welcome Show, we can find a large purple hippo animatronic, who seems to be the origin of this character. Next to the hippo, we can also find a few smiling frogs, who most likely inspired Happy Frog. I wonder if these guys had ninja skills too.
Like with you! Ninja skills!
Another character from the Welcome Show is this pig character, who, while not looking much like Pig Patch, does match his Western theming. So I'm gonna say this character was probably stolen to make Pig Patch. Finally, we have Orville Elephant, who probably has one of the closest lookalikes in this game, being this orange variant of the elephant mascot suit. In addition to the color and animal choice, this guy sports a purple hat, just like Orville, so I'd say the connection is pretty clear. There doesn't seem to be any references to Ned Bear in this game, but this character is basically just a ripoff of Freddy anyways, so it's not surprising. Moving on to some Sister Location characters, while there don't seem to be any mascots that directly resemble the Sister Location cast, there are 2 characters that I believe helped William Afton when figuring out the designs and technology of the characters, being Jackie and Dolly. Jackie, in my opinion, feels very reminiscent of Sister Location's design and themes, being a clown with a white base, red makeup, and other accessories. Dolly, on the other hand, while not having the themes of a Funtime animatronic, does have her face segmented into multiple pieces, reminiscent of the Funtimes faceplates. I think it's likely that when William Afton wanted to create his own set of robots, he used the clown theme of Jackie and the segmented face of Dolly to create the Funtime animatronics. Montgomery Gator and Roxanne Wolf were 2 new additions to the band introduced with Security Breach, and at the time it seemed like these 2 just kinda came out of nowhere. However, Secret of the Mimic actually showed us that these characters have been around for a lot longer than we thought. Roxy's origins aren't super interesting, as she's just another character from the Foxy Puppet Show, where she's referred to as Deadeye Roxy. But Monty, on the other hand, has a very interesting backstory. Not only does a green gator appear in the Welcome Show as part of a jug band, something Monty was also in according to Ruin, but we actually get to see a springlock suit of this gator during the game's true ending. confirming that Monty was, at least planned, to join the Fazbear crew from the very beginning. Now that we've covered all of the major character groups, this last section will be dedicated to a few random characters whose origins lie within this game. Up first is Helpy, who Edwin created as a fun little robot that would help employees around the manor with pre-recorded messages, who Henry would steal for his franchise location in FNaF 6, and who the new Fazbear CEO would steal for branding in the Pizzaplex and VR game. However, while the MCM facility featured both Mr. and Mrs. Helpful animatronics, Fazbear seemed to only really be interested in the male version, most likely due to Fiona Murray, Edwin's deceased wife, doing her voice. Not sure how Helpy managed to stay around this long, but good for him. Second is Candy Cadet, who appears on this poster during the game. Candy Cadet has so far appeared in 2 Steel Wool games, being Ruin and Help Wanted 2, where both times he tells us cryptic stories that vaguely relate to the game he's currently in. If I had to guess, I'd say Candy Cadet was most likely an attraction at Fall Fest, but there's really no way of knowing. Speaking of Fall Fest attractions, a Mystic Hippo poster can be seen on the upper level of the Big Top showroom. Mystic Hippo made her debut in Help Wanted 2, with a short minigame meant to show off the PSVR 2's eye-tracking tech. Considering she very closely resembles a fortune teller attraction, I think it's extremely likely that Mystic Hippo was at Fall Fest. Next up is Music Man, who got his start with Big Top from the Big Top showroom. Big Top's design definitely feels more akin to DJ Music Man than regular Music Man due to his size, but they do share a pretty similar face shape. I'm not sure how we went from giant ticket machine, to spider with cymbals, to spider with headphones, but hey, he's still... Lastly, we have Moon from Security Breach, who started out as a mascot costume known as Sleepy Moon, with them both being moon creatures with jingle bells, moon faces, and blue clothes. Honestly, I'm not very surprised that this character ended up getting redesigned, as this original costume is easily one of FNAF's most unnerving designs. I mean, not that his redesign was much better, but, you know, whatever. And that was every single Fazbear Entertainment character that was stolen from Murray's costume Manor. Of all of Secret of the Mimic's many positive aspects, one of my personal favorites will always be the amount of insight it gives us into the origins of Freddy's and its cast, and I hope we get more FNAF games that take place in these earlier years of the timeline. I don't have a lot of theories on this game that haven't already been talked about, so this will probably be my last video on the game for a while, so I hope you enjoyed both the game itself and my videos on it. But anyways, that's all from me. I'm Supersonic, like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.